Why I'm antinatalist, but I'm not vegan? Few weeks ago, I was invited to a conversation at Lawrence Anton channel, which is dedicated to antinatalism, to share my views, my story about the topic. And I discovered during the conversation that Lawrence is vegan. So many of his followers are vegans as well. And as I was talking about why I'm not vegan, I started being attacked in comments, accusing me of something I never heard of before called speciesists. Species. And it means that I discriminate based on the species. Okay. So I don't eat humans, but I eat animals, and this is unfair, right? So I thought, okay, I really need to make a video about this to explain why I'm not vegan, although I had a long journey of struggle. 7 years I became a pescatarian, I stopped eating chicken and meat, and I was really thinking that I don't want to eat those beautiful animals. But why I was never a vegan, although my husband is vegan? I'm Theresa Khalil, a writer, a documentary filmmaker, and this is Unique TV, where I share my views on things. But this is my story with not being a vegan. So the first reason why I'm not a vegan is because I looked into it. I am someone who cares for healthy living. My Arabic channel Fukaira, if you follow me there, it's dedicated to healthy living. So I was like, the whole channel is full of recipes that are plant-based because my husband is vegan and I always try to eat healthy. But the reason why I didn't become a vegan is because when I looked into it, I found two problems. First problem is omega-3. So at the beginning, I thought that you can get omega-3 from plant-based food because this is what they claim. You can have it in walnuts, in flax seeds, chia seeds, you can have omega-3. But then when I really looked into it, away from the vegan propaganda, I found that no. The kind of omega-3 that you get from those foods is different from the ones you get from animal products. So those omega-3s are ALA, but there is DHA and EPA that you get from animal products. And so the solution is that you take a supplement. And I try for my husband, I try to find for him a DHA supplement for omega-3, but to be honest, he's not consistent with his supplements and he doesn't really take his vitamins, okay? But what I believe is that even if I will take a supplement, I need to have this as food in its natural form. So you can't just live on supplements. So this is one problem. The other problem is, of course, B12. And if you are following me on this channel, you will find when I made a video about veganism and I went and I met someone from Animal Friends here in Croatia. And I wanted to know, tell me, how can I get B12? And she told me, well,
B12 develops, is a bacteria which develops in our mouth or develops in the soil. That's what the animals eat, that's why they have it. So at one point we say, we have to eat an animal product in order to get B12. But also if we eat organic vegetables, which are not polluted by pesticides.
If you eat organic and you wash your vegetables not so much, so this still has like soil in it, then you can have this bacteria that will give you some B12. And of course, all this also is another vegan propaganda trying to solve the problem of B12, and B12 is abundant in animal products. And yes, there are a lot of people who tried the vegan diet, but also if you go on Facebook, you can find groups of people who are recovering from the vegan diet and how it was harmful for them. Life is priorities, and it depends what is your priority. Once I was invited to a workshop It was organized by Zelené Akcja, which is an organization for environment. Their main priority is environment. And they cooperated with some vegans, thinking that they have the same priority, which is protecting the environment and the animals, and they thought that they align in this. But then during the meeting, as I was sitting observing those vegans and those environmentalists, the vegans brought some vegan delicacies and they started distributing them in the meeting or the workshop, but they were in plastic containers. And the environmentalists, they got upset. Like, what? Couldn't you bring it in glass? And the vegans were like, but glass is heavy, you know? Later on, as they started talking about other topics and forests and I don't know, it turned out that the vegans actually don't care much about the environmental problems. All what they care about is animals. Although environmentalists and animal advocates thought that they have something in common, actually it turned out that their priorities are different. And this what I believe. Each human being has a different priority. Maybe for you, veganism is the priority number one. For me, it is not. I care more about healthy living. I care more about what is healthy for me as a human being. Not because I'm a speciesist, but because I didn't design this life, and life is cruel. One of the first questions I asked myself as a child, why creatures eat each other? That's a system in life. If you look, plants eat insects, insects eat each other, alligators eat whatever they find, and you see, lion eat deer, and it's like that. It's like, this is how life is. So I didn't design this life. I'm not happy with it, of course. That's why I'm antinatalist. But my priority is not the animals. I would love to. That's why I spent 7 years pescatarian, and I looked into how not to eat meat and how, because I really care for, I don't like to eat those creatures, but I also can't stop myself from seeing how life is designed and how I'm just part of this cruel system. So that's another reason why I'm not a vegan. The third reason why I'm not a vegan is, I think, something people who are living in developed countries or living in cities, they never think about. Because veganism could have never been possible in previous eras. I will talk about my life in Upper Egypt with my mother's family. My grandfather and my grandmother didn't have much money. So money was very little. You know, you just have money for very like emergency stuff. So how those people ate? I lived with them. And my grandmother had animals on the roof, ducks, chicken, pigeons, rabbits. They have a sheep for every year to eat meat. But most of the time they eat rabbits and chickens and pigeons, and so they slaughter them by themselves. It's just my grandmother, my mother, my aunts, my uncles. They do this. That's how they are living. And there is no money for them to buy stuff, okay? So you can't tell them, well, you need to get some chia seeds from far African, I don't know what. Or you need some flax seeds to come by plane. There was no such a thing. And so people just eat from the environment, what is around them, and there is no money. So that's how they were eating. Every Thursday there was a market. The farmers come from all around. In this market they sell cheese, greens. Yeah, that's basically. And everyone has his own animals to eat. So there was no supplements, no take your B12 or take your omega-3 and all that. And we had one day in the week that there was no food. They called it the open day because no one cooks anything and there was no food. So my uncle used to take me to the balcony. I go with him. He has like a wooden basket. He puts some seeds, and when the sparrows come, he closed the basket, and then he killed those sparrows by his hand. He just separate the head because they are very small. So he separate the head from the body. He make a big pot of sparrows, and that was my favorite meal. Like going with my uncle to catch sparrows. Yeah, it's cruel, of course, because just now when I look as someone now civilized and developed, I look at the sparrows and I'm like, oh, they're so cute. But yeah, I was eating them because, as I said, you just eat from the environment around you. And that's how life is designed, still designed the same way. I also was living in Sinai, in Sharm el-Sheikh, in the desert. I go with the Bedouins. And okay, what do you have to eat in the desert? Do you want to ask Bedouins to import some chia seeds and some supplements? No. So I just go with the Bedouins. The Bedouin woman, she go in the Red Sea with her galabeya, which is a big dress, and she catch fish that way, and then she bring it, and we eat it as it is without even salt. So I think all those vegans, they actually didn't live a real, like, they didn't face nature, okay? They didn't face nature. They were brought up in very developed countries where they just had the chance to sit and think and observe and question. And I totally understand that because I'm also a philosopher and a questioner. And that was one of the questions I asked, why life is designed that way. But I don't blame humans for it. I think this is the difference between me and vegans. Vegans blame humans. I blame life. I blame nature. Why are you this way? So yes, life is really, for me, I don't understand it at all. That's why I'm on a journey to understand life, and you can follow me on the podcast, The Scrapbook of Life, where I meet people from different beliefs and religions and see how they explain this experience of existence and how they are maybe satisfied with it and how they are happy to be here. So you can find it here on this channel, Unique TV, and also on Spotify and Apple Podcast, The Scrapbook of Life. And so now, as you know, that I've been on healthy diets for 5 years trying to find the right diet. I tried plant-based diet, majority of them were plant-based actually, but I also tried the GAPS diet, which advocate for eating animals, and Western Ape Rice diet. And I made a video about it if you want to see what is the result of 5 years of healthy diets and what I discovered. And now I try to eat home-cooked food as much as possible. I try to avoid the processed foods. I try to eat everything in its natural form, whether it's animals or plants. But as my husband is vegan, I still eat mostly vegan food. But of course I have my fish. Sometimes I have meat. I'm not a meat person, to be honest, or I'm not a meat or chicken person, but I'm still a pescatarian. And those are my reasons why I'm not vegan. I hope that it makes sense to you. I hope that you understand that not everyone is living the life that you live. And you need to travel more. You need to get out of your comfort zone as a vegan. Go to Africa, go to, I don't know, Eskimo. Go to the desert. So this is my unique view of the matter. Tell me, what do you think? But be respectful. I don't want people who are speciesist to attack me in the comments.